up, my little kittens? This video is going to be about fighting for price. So, let's get you a little context because you're going to need that. So I put out a video 3 months ago called Why Managing Trades by Hands Makes the Difference. I suggest you go watch that one. You can watch this one first, but I suggest watching that one. People ask me, where do you put the stops? I don't put the fucking stops out. I have an emergency stop. But as a scalper, I don't let that emergency stop get hit, which is 6 ticks. Statistically, I need about 6 ticks for plays to work. But again, I let the order flow talk to me, and then I try to get out. I try to get out of it before it gets sour. And there's a lot of other things going on that I simply can't explain because it's taken me years to figure this shit out. And I can't do that in a few minutes. However, I manage my shit by hand. However, I also like to fight for price. When you start to practice fighting for price, you can be more aggressive on good setups, and you can play breakouts either side. You can fight for the fade. If the fade doesn't work, then you can fight for a breakout trade. And it just, my style's real aggressive, and it's getting a little more aggressive as time goes on because I'm getting better. Hopefully, I mean, that's what you do, right? You get better. I also suggest watching this price, what is this, auction market theory and price action video. The exact pattern I talk about in this fucking video is the same pattern we're about to see here, where I pick up, how much do I pick up on this fucking deal? $1,650 on 4 contracts. The trade goes in my favor, 37 ticks. I don't think I take off all 37 ticks with full size, but it doesn't matter. We're going to watch this thing pan out because you guys love seeing trades pan out. That's why you love this channel, right? This is what you want. This is what you're here for. So let's go ahead and look at a chart, and let me go over all the squiggly lines. The ones down here, stochastics. I don't fucking use them. I don't know why they're there. They've been there for months. Okay? I don't use stochastics to make my decisions, but let's go over these other squiggly lines. So this one right here in the middle is the VWAP, volume weighted average price, the dark blue one. According to Dr. Brett Steenbarger, because you guys know I'm a fanboy of S&B Capital, hedge funds use VWAP. Big guys use VWAP. I don't know why. They just do. There's something else going on there. I'm too fucking stupid to know why, but I just know that from watching the order flow, people play it. People play the VWAP. They also play VWAP at the prop shop, S&B Capital. So this light blue line up and down, those are first standard deviation high, first standard deviation low. So when you have a bell curve, you have standard deviations. So let me go ahead and pull something up. Bell curve. So if we look at a bell curve, here you go. Right here, standard deviations, first, second. So, you know, this is like your VPOC, your volume point of control, and then your first standard deviations would be over here, then your seconds, so on and so forth. I have them plotting on Sierra charts. In case you guys want to know who use Sierra charts, you have this volume by price indicator up. And then what I do is you go to subgraphs, and they're right here. And mean price, standard deviation lines. So this is the second standard deviation, high, low. Same with the first. In case you want to know, that's how you get the standard deviations, the plot on here. They're like any other fucking moving average. I mean, it's not a moving average. I like it because it's a standard deviation. It's measuring the standard deviations of the bell curve. Sometimes they can be real good, but again, like any indicator, they can suck ass. So those are all the lines I use. Anyways, so I mean, look, the market got held up by it twice, and of course it's moving. As more volume comes in on the profile, your standard deviations are going to kind of move up and down. You can see how the second standard deviation held the market down, but of course it breaches through it a little bit. It's never going to just touch these things perfectly. You got to see what's really going on the heat map and the order flow, and that's what's important, okay? But, you know, I kind of look at these things to see how they may be influencing the market. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. So that auction market theory video I'm talking about that I have, same pattern. We're going to see the same pattern, this one right here. Okay? So, let me zoom this shit in. Right here. So we get a hard pivot up here. So this green line here is the market open. You can see that the market fails off first standard deviation low, goes through VWAP, bounces VWAP. I mean, of course it goes through it a little bit. Comes up in the first standard deviation, starts to fail up here. And I knew that, I mean, the way the profile was forming on the morning, it had a neutral look to it. So I figured typically the Z pattern works really good on neutral days, and basically it's you need to have a major pivot high, and then when you come back to it, well, first and foremost, the rules are, this is my rules. You need a pivot high, and you need to have some sort of substantial pullback of some sort. Doesn't have to look like this. And then once you get back up to that pivot high, you want to look for the thing to start to fail. And it has to breach the original pivot high by a few ticks or a tick. In this case, it only breaches it by like one fucking tick, and then it rolls over. So you're going to see how I play the short for this, and I fight for price to get into this thing, which yields me a beautiful bounty on a Friday morning. So anyways, we put in this pivot high. And again, the context is the profile is somewhat neutral, so I know that, you know, and also it's kind of aligning with the first standard deviation too, so that's good. We bounce off VWAP. I like the bounce off VWAP. We come up, and then let's go into order flow mode. So you can see right here the price is at 40.25, which is the very high of this deal. But I'm not just going for the short right off the bat. I got to make sure the order flow confirms it somehow by turning this into 1080p. Yeah. So it puts in the high here. This is the 40 was where the other pivot high was. Of course, all this shit up here is from the overnight session. But anyways, I'm kind of watching the fucking deal. Let me mute this. Some decent selling starts to come in up here. And you can look how aggressive this move is. And this is the first time where it's really starting to get all chopped and screwed. And also the way the profile is, it kind of tapers off here. So you can see there's a bigger profile down here. That's going to want to keep the price down. It's not going to really want to go much above that unless there's some really good aggressiveness behind the tape. And then just look how this is printing. You got a 45 sell, 45 sell, 46 sell, 40 sell. Not many mid-sized buyers hitting this fucking deal. And for me, 39.50 is kind of the line in the sand. I'm watching this price very carefully. This is going to take a minute to pan out. So yeah. Now it's kind of chopping sideways. And these fucking balls, I had to get them off. I don't like them, so don't ask me what they are. They're just these stupid things that show absorption, but they're dumb. I don't need them. For some reason, there was way too many of them coming on because I just had wiped my computer recently, so some of my settings were reset. And if you want to see absorption, look at your footprint. Look how it's absorbing right here. So I'm carefully watching it. I like how it's getting below 39.50. It kind of drops in faster than I was hoping for. I'm looking for some sort of pullback. But it just fell in so quickly. I know that there's a high probability that this is going to go now. So you can see I kind of chased it from the backside, like I try to queue up there. I don't want to usually market order into these things. There's a time and place where I'm going to market order. This I like to queue up more often than not. So I don't like that because now the bid's 139 versus 33 and the fucking thing's starting to hold up. This bid's starting to pump up, so I'm going to take it off for a 1 tick loss. Try to get back in the fucking deal. Do I market order that one? So it's staying below this 39.50. I like that because that's structure. That's a big node. So yeah, I try to queue it, but the fucking shit just ticked up on me real quick. And now it's starting to tick flip. You got some aggressive buying coming in. You still have some nice size selling, but the buyers are starting to get aggressive at this point. So now it's ticking up against me again. I'm going to take it for another 1 tick loss. Because the way this thing's starting to wind up, it could be just a pullback and then the fucking thing continues. Also, it's chopping on first standard deviation, which if I look at the fucking chart, that line is about 39, even 39.25. So it's chopping the first standard deviation. Sometimes it'll do that. But if it's going to continue to chop this, if it gets above 39.50, I'm going to start to get long biased on the fucking deal. I'll play either side. There's certain areas where I'll play one side or the other. So I'm wanting this 39.50 to hold the market down. I'm not going to go for it yet. So now it's starting to tumble. I know that it's going to be harder to get into it now that the way it's starting to fucking tumble. And the 39.50 is a big piece of structure. It held the market down. Go for it again. Now I'm covering for a break even. Not quite going. Not liking that shit. So I'm trying to break even on the fucking deal. Another 1 tick loss. So I'm 3 ticks down. Go for it again. Covering it. Going for a break even on the deal. Because the way the volume is, it's real one way. There's only volume printing on 39 even. And again, this is first standard deviation. So I decided to queue up on it again. I'll cover it again. But sometimes it has to do that before it finally goes. So I'll show you what that looks like again without me stopping it. So I try to queue it. Because I know if it's going to go, it's going to go. Get the fuck out of it. I'm going to queue it one more time. There it goes. And I'm fighting for that price. That price I want. I really want 39. I wanted 39.50. Didn't get it. But this is another nice piece of structure. And if it can get over 38, it's golden because that's a high node. Watching the time and sales here. 38, of course, is holding the fucking market up. But it got real aggressive on it the way it printed in there. And you're getting some nice aggressive sell orders here. Goddamn 38, popping the market up, which isn't good. But I know the probabilities of this trade working out, and it's starting to work out. It already top tick turned over. So now I'm fighting for the fucking thing. It's below first standard deviation, which is great. And I know that since the VWAP had bounced it, I know that there's a high probability it may go through VWAP the second go. Typically, if you get a real hard bounce off VWAP, the next time it's going to go through it. So this trade, I think, pans out for, sorry about that, 7 minutes and 3 seconds. So I'm going to just kind of like start skipping because there's really not much to see here. I'm covering 38 because if this gets ugly here, it's going to zip right into my price, and I need to get out of it and take something for the fight I put up. Screenshot and shit there. Notice how the price is falling in easier here. It's just because the profile tapers off, so there's really nothing to hold it up. It's going to get caught up on 35 even. See, bouncing off 35 because it's a high node. I do expect that if it's going to bounce, I expect a rotation at 37.50. If it does get there, I think I'm taking another fucking screenshot. You got to take those 6 screenshots when you do good trades, right? You got to brag. You got to brag about it. So here's the VWAP, is that green colored node on 34.50. It needs to get through here. Look how there's a bid coming in to try to step up in front of it. You're going to get larger transactions typically around a VWAP. Let me see where I get out of this shit. No, I can't because there's another trade I want to look at. Why do I keep taking all the screenshots? That's distracting. I shouldn't do that. So it gets through VWAP. So if we pause the video, we're here now. Again, it fucking bounced it, and the other pivot was 34.50. So now we're through there. That's good. I kind of do expect it to bounce off 32 or somewhere in here because it's the volume point of control. It's going to have problems getting through here. It's getting absorbed pretty badly at this point. I think I might get ready to take some of it off. Yeah, it just feels so good when it does this. It just goes in your favor like this. It sucks when it's on the other side and you didn't you removed your stop and you're long on something like this. That's when it sucks. So basically, it cost me $150. Ooh, yeah, to make $16.50. So for some of you, that may not make sense, taking these small losses to hit big trades and let them go. To me, it makes all the sense in the fucking world. Because honestly, if I have my stop out at 6 ticks, here's where I'm getting ready to unload it. You know, if I put my stop out at 6 ticks, you know, that's, ooh, shit. Give me a second. 6 times 50, that's $300. I would have lost $300 if that stop would have got hit. So, yeah, it would have not got hit in this particular example, but it only cost me half of that to get the move going. It could have. You never know. You really never know what's going to happen. That's why you got to fight for the price and listen to your order flow. I think I'm scaling out here. So it did get through that volume point of control, which is great. It's starting to get held up here. I want to start to get paid on the fucking deal. I don't know if I go completely flat on the fucking thing or if I take 2 off. Let's see where we're at. So we're at 31 even. Yeah, so we're right about here at 31 even. I think I'm holding some of it to standard deviation of 29.75 on this particular move. Again, I held it all the way down. So again, 29.75 is where... Let's see, I'm covering to get the fuck out. So, yeah, I took 2 off right there. And I want to see if this other, and I need to get paid on the fucking deal. I know that it's getting real rough to even get down here. We're so close to this VPOC, it's going to want to pull it in. I think I'm holding the other two. Now it's starting to get trapped here. A lot of block buying coming in. And again, this is first standard deviation, and it's starting to pop off the fucking deal. A lot of really good defense coming in. Notice how this defense on the bids are coming in right where this first standard deviation is. And it's getting real aggressive with buying and shit. Sellers can't get through this shit. And then you can see where I'm taking the whole deal off. So I don't get the full extent of the move, but boo-hoo, you know, I fucking, you know, I nabbed it just right. Yeah, it's a good fucking trade. And then I think it zips at this point. Yeah. So I got out of there at a pretty good price altogether, and then it just comes back up. So let's look at the next trade. Trades. This is going to be more like fighting type shit. Hold on real quick. Okay, so give me this a second here. The next trades. These are going to be quite a few trades. We're going to go over, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go over like, yeah, we'll go over a few. We'll go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go over five trades. And these are all relatively close to each other. So this is going to be at 115. So let's go to the future. Let's go to the future, folks. Oops, didn't mean to do that. 115. So 150, right? Is that what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So 115 is right around here. So let's go ahead and make this bigger. So we're playing second standard deviation at this point. Let me see here. Do I short this fucking deal? Let me see if yeah, this is a short. Okay, so what happened is we bounce off second standard deviation and we're rolling on the first standard deviation. Sometimes that happens. And it looks like I'm trying to get short on this fucking thing because honestly, the way I see it is the overnight session's unbalanced to the low, so it kind of has room to run. Same thing with the previous day. It looks unbalanced to the low. Didn't pan out for the day, as you can see, but I was kind of gearing up for something like that. Also, the way it bounced off first standard or second standard deviation is coming up the first. It actually, what's really keying me off on the fucking deal is it's not. I'm sorry. Ignore everything I just, said. So it bounced off second standard deviation, and much like the VWAP, where we see a hard bounce on the VWAP, look at this VPOC, this pink line. So look how the price is bouncing right the fuck on the VPOC. Yes, it goes through it. I'll put a red line there so you can see it better. Let's go ahead and make it a little bigger. So we're bouncing off the VPOC. Typically, we didn't have a hard bounce off the VPOC. Typically, throughout the day, if it's somewhat neutral, there's going to be a point in time where you're going to see a hard bounce off VPOC. We came to it with a lot of velocity. And let's go to order flow. So right here, you can see where we went. I know we went through VPOC by a few ticks. But the thing is, for me, I'm looking at this for a shorting perspective. At this point, it looks like that that's holding. And I'm not going to just short this immediately. I need a little bit of confirmation before I fade a trend, kind of like in that last play we just looked at. Give me a second here. Let's get this shit. Price is chopping on 31. 31 even is also a high volume edge. So I go for it here. Fantastic entry. And then it just zips down, but the way it's coming back up. So let's go ahead and look at that entry again. So let me see if somebody's flipping on the deal. So we get through VPOC. I'm still trying to understand what's going on here to see why I picked this exactly. But 31 even's a good price for me because it's high volume edge, and the profile's so tapered here it should be able to get through. Let me see what happens here. And even though that's a large offer, that could get wiped out relatively easy because that large offer came out of nowhere. So at this point, I'm kind of just waiting for some sort of confirmation. So this thing gets whacked by quite a bit of size. Still kind of waiting for it to tick down. And it's kind of like in that other example where I got short. See how there's only one-way volume coming on 31? It's ticking up and down. I'm trying to let that tick up and down play out a little bit more so I don't keep getting in and out for break-evens or little losses. So I'm just seeing how this thing flips up and down. And now it's kind of staying down a little bit longer. So, yep. Now it ticks down 2 ticks, and for me, that's worth a shot. I go for it. Really, I wanted 31, but the way it kind of ticks down, and I can't remember what I'm thinking in this time because I'm not, like, you know, reviewing these things like the next day. It's just really hard for me to really have my pulse on what I was thinking in the market. But the way it looks here, I wanted that price. It looks like I'm getting ready to hit that shit. Yep. And then it runs. I tried to take it there because it's the way it was stalling for me. That was good. And then I think I canceled the order there. And I just get out of it. Unfortunately, I left a shitload on the table, but the way it just flew down and it's getting stuck up here, I don't like that. And you also have some really decent buying, like a 97, 54, 55, 40 versus what the sellers are putting out. But the next trade will be at... Is going to be coming up right now. Here in about a minute. So I'm letting this thing pan out because it could easily shoot the fuck back up. And it really, the way it bounced, it came to the tail edge of this profile too, which this bell curve is like really nice looking down here. Real sexy looking bell curve right there. Yeah, see, this would be coming up onto where my entry was. So I had to take a little bit off the table, which I got, what did I get off that? Because you guys probably want to know. 150, 3 ticks. Went my favorite 8 ticks, which sucks. But for me, this was kind of like a bigger hold play that I'm trying to get. This next short, I get in at 28.75, so way down there. So I'm letting this thing play the fuck out. And what could happen is it could print this 28.50 and then bounce up violently. So I'm letting this thing kind of play out a little bit. I'm wanting to see a test of right under this 31 since it's a high volume edge, but it already bounced it once. I'd probably go through it the second go. Quite a bit of selling that was hitting in right there, you could see. But really, both buyers and sellers are just really aggressive with each other. They're both throwing out equally aggressive market orders at this point. So for me, it's like I need to see one side start to get fatigued. So we're kind of approaching these little pivot zones for a third go, and for me, that's pretty good. So now I'm trying to get the fuck out of the deal, because like I said, it could print here and then zoom up real quickly, but if it doesn't, it was worth fighting for. And that sucks when that happens. I was like 5Q, but I knew I wouldn't be able to get it, so I paid up for a 1-tick loss on the deal. I actually think it queued out one of the orders. Something happened where I lost 62.50, so I don't know what happened on that. It should have been minus 50. But now it's kind of bouncing back and testing down here again, and the fact that it's still kind of testing down here again, this is good. Like, for me, this is like, makes total sense that this is going to fucking work the fuck out at this point. And if we look at it, this is at, 17 after, so we're right about, we're right here. So you can kind of see how these bars are. This is what's happening here. Again, I'm a fucking scalper too. So now I'm covering again, and then I take a break even. So it's not good. Let me look at the P&L real quick. Yeah, so I'm going to take one more break even. So we're about to see another break even set up here at like, I literally get right the fuck back in the deal. And see, that's like a good thing I took the fucking break even. You see how, like, I'm short, right? And then it kind of does that. And see how it's tick flipping right there? I don't like that. So I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of this thing because it keeps flipping up, and then it's eventually, the way it's ticking back and forth, it's only going to do that so many times, giving me such a narrow window to break even on the fucking deal. And I know that my opportunity of this thing working out's dwindling real quickly, and then look, I mean, just boom. So, I mean, that break even was definitely worth it at that point, right? And, like, think about this. If I had a 6-tick fucking stop, and I just let it ride, you know, instead of fighting, I'd get stopped out for $300. Let's see if that would even hit my, what price was I even in on the deal? $28.75. So you're looking at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at $30.25. That's where my stop would be. I think it stays within that. I'm not sure. Hey, get right the fuck up on it. That's for sure. Going for it again. So this trade. So you got to think of it. I took 150 win, lost 62.50 of that, and then 2 break evens. So I'm doing pretty well for this particular zone. This next trade is actually a good trade. So you could see how the way it was stalling up. I'm trying to get out for a 1-tick win. Unfortunately, I was Q1. So now I'm trying to break even. Oh, that was that was the second break even. Okay, that was the second break even. So let's go ahead and let me make sure I'm recording the right screen here. I am. So the way it flew up, I know that it's starting to approach down here. I'm trying to fight for this fucking area just to get short because there's a big short panning out. And then the way it's stalling, I don't like it, so I'm trying to at least take a tick off the fucking table. Can't get it. Immediately try to get a break even, get the break even. So now I'm kind of waiting for this thing to pan the fuck out a little bit. Go for it again. Trying to cover the motherfucker, not as aggressive in my fighting on the deal, but we've tested down here so many times that I'm kind of letting it play out a little bit more, and there it goes. Covering the fucking shit to get the fuck out of it if it gets pretty bad. This 27 even's obviously going to be a problem with the size that's been sitting here. And then it's not quite going through this price here, so I decided I'm just going to get the fuck out of the deal. Really, I should have took 2 lots off on the fucking thing instead of all 4. Yeah, but look how it just kind of goes back up. And there it goes. So you got to look at this fucking shit that, you know, what is it? So we have 150 minus 62.50 plus my 2 break evens plus I made 300 on this one, so I'm up 387.50 for all this of 5 trades. Where's this next deal at? Yeah, so I mean that's fighting for price in a nutshell. So you can kind of see how I'm doing it. I mean, if you think you attack it down here, I mean, it'd be really easy to get stopped out on these fucking deals at times, and it's not worth it because that's minus $300. So that's just basically fighting for price. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm done.